Hello everyone! In this video, we are not going to be creating any part. Instead, what I want to do is to provide a little bit more deeper explanation about how path command works. In particular, I want to discuss the difference between the type of path, which is dimension, up to next, up to last, up to plane, and up to surface. So let's get right into it. Now what I created here is basically a part with different levels, as you can see. And then I created 5 different sketches of circles at the bottom of the part. If I have a look in the specification tree, you can see that each circle was made as a separate sketch. So let's try to extrude all of these sketches. So let's click on the path command and click on the circle. And for the first type, I'm going to pick dimension. So dimension is pretty self-explanatory. If you input length of 100 millimeters, the circle is going to be extruded by 100 millimeters. You can hit preview and you can see this. If you input 50, it is going to be extruded by 50. You can go ahead and hit OK. Now, if you click on the path command again and pick the second circle, for the type we're going to choose up to next. Hit preview, and what this basically does is that it creates an extrusion all the way to the next face that it meets. So this is the next face that is in the path of extrusion, and therefore it stops there. This is the type up to next, so it stops at the next face it sees. If this was removed, the extrusion would go all the way up and stop at this face. Okay, you can go ahead and click OK. Now for the third circle, we can again choose the path command, and for the type, let's choose up to last and hit preview. Well, this is basically very similar to up to next, but instead of stopping at the first face it meets, it's going to stop at the last face that it sees in the path of extrusion. In this case, it is this curved surface right here, so it goes here, but then something else is here, so it goes further, but it knows that something else is here, so it goes further, and then there is nothing above the part, so it stops there. Okay, you can hit OK, and then let's choose another circle, and click on the path command, and now let's pick up to plane. So with up to plane, as you can see, it says limit, no selection. So right now you need to choose a plane up to which the extrusion will be executed. So if I choose this plane right here and hit preview, as you can see, the extrusion is only executed up to this plane. I can go ahead and change this. To do so, just click here again and choose another plane, for example this one. Hit preview, and as you can see, it now extrudes the circle all the way from here to this plane. Now if you want to choose this, you can't, because this is not a plane, it is a curved surface. But what I can do, for example, is choose this plane. Hit preview, and as you can see, it goes all the way from the bottom through all of these parts to this plane. Alright, let's hit OK and close this. And then for the last one, pick the circle and choose the path command. And we're going to pick up to surface. So with up to surface, it is very similar to up to plane, but in this case you can choose a curved surface as well. So for example, I can again choose this surface, hit preview. As you can see, it only extrudes the circle up to this surface. But if I choose this curved surface, it basically does the same thing. But as opposed to up to plane, I can choose a curved surface in this case. You can go ahead and click OK. And so this is the main difference between all of these different types. They're all useful for different things, and they all have different implications with constraining. Sometimes it is a bit easier to use one or the other. So the use of different type is really up to you and up to a specific situation. I want to show you one more thing about the path command. So if I just zoom out a little bit, and let's create a new sketch. So click on this plane, go to sketch of workbench. And now I told you at the beginning that every sketch you make has to be a closed sketch, right? So for example, if you have something like a rectangle, and then you have got a line in between, this is not a closed sketch, because the path command is not going to be able to tell which side to extrude and what is going on basically. Because if you want to extrude a line, that's basically just an infinitesimal width. So this is an open profile, and if you exit the sketch of workbench and try to extrude this with the path command, it tells you the selected sketch contains several open profiles or some geometry used for construction. So you're gonna go ahead and click on no because you don't want to use this sketch. You can hit cancel, You need to edit this, double click, and delete the line. And right now the sketch is closed and you can extrude it without any problems. However, there are times when you can actually use Open Profile. So if you go into Sketch Workbench again, click on the plane, and let's say I want to create a block of a material, right? So instead of creating a rectangle and extruding that into third dimension, what I can actually do is only create a single line, exit the Sketch Workbench, and use the path command to extrude this. Now it gives me an error which says topological operators invalid profile body, but that's fine, just click OK. And in this case what you have to do is to check this option called thick. If you click on it, it gives you these two options. And so that's basically the thickness of your plate, right? That's basically the thickness along the z-axis. If I choose, for example, length of 200 millimeters, you will see the length is like this, and right now with my thickness of 1 millimeter, I would create this very thin sheet. Well, what I can do is I can choose thickness of 25 millimeters, and then thickness to the other side of 60 millimeters, hit preview, and I can create a block, click OK, simply by sketching a single line. Okay everyone, this is everything I wanted to cover in this video. I just wanted to get this straight because we're going to be using these commands later in the tutorials, and it's good to have understanding about them. I hope it was useful, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.